Okay, so I took my own advice and did the practice, and you just saw that on time lapse. So what I did on my little picture here, my little rough sketch, is I did the water cycle, the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, and the phosphorus cycle, all right here, okay? And I should be able to explain to you what every single arrow is. So let's start with the water cycle, which is in blue. It's going to evaporate, then it's going to rain back down. Some of that's going to run off, some of it goes to groundwater. Some of it's going to get pumped right back up again by farms and agriculture, anything with wells or well water. And that's going to eventually, through evapotranspiration or transpiration, or directly from evaporation, end up back in the sky. Some of that's going to get taken up by plants, and through evapotranspiration, it's going to end up back in the air and go back through condensation and precipitation again. See, hopefully I'm going fast enough for you. Phosphorus cycle, let's go from here. It's going to erode from the land right here in yellow. It's going to end up in deep ocean deposits. Those deposits is how we get phosphorus in the soil. That goes into plants. Then that goes from the plants to the animals. When the animals poop, pee, or die, it goes back into the soil again, and eventually it's going to run off again. Deep breath. Okay, nitrogen. So nitrogen's in the air. Nitrogen's going to be taken out of the air by soil bacteria. Soil bacteria are either going to make it available for plants, in which case it's going to go into animals, which you see right here. And then some of those bacteria are denitrifying bacteria, and they're going to put it back in the air. That air also goes into cars, in which case it's going to get changed from N2 gas into NO2, and then in the atmosphere that's going to become H2NO3, which is acid rain, and that's going to fall back down to the earth or into the oceans. It's hard to like talk because you're just constantly breathing out. You know what I mean? So I have to like stop and breathe in. Okay, so carbon. Carbon's in the air. There's only a few things that take carbon dioxide out. Plants. And then that carbon's going to get transferred to animals. And eventually when things poop, pee, or die, that goes back into the ground, which you see here. Now it can also be taken out by rain and water in the forming of HNO3. That can go into our coral reefs and be stored up there, or not. And some of that nitrogen goes into the microscopic plants and algae, which you don't see here, which are actually a protist. And that enters the food chain, it enters animals, and those animals are going to poop, pee, or die, and things. And some of that's going to go back to the atmosphere, and some of it's going to stay in the ocean, deep ocean sediments. Carbon cycle. Oh, excuse me. Those deep ocean sediments, things like that, will eventually become fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are going to be dug up, burned for energy, something like coal or natural gas. Then it's going to go back to the atmosphere there, or it's going to go to the transportation sector, go into cars, and become CO2, and go back into the environment there. So what was that, Kevin? I went over water, carbon, phosphorus, and nitrogen in a few minutes. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to draw this out, know where all those arrows are going, and that's how you practice. And that's how I practice it. And if I can remember it all, so can you.